Jeff Howe, our Patriots Insider from the Athletic Boston, is with us, and I'm just waiting for the Patriots to play a good team.
It's going to be a while. There aren't many of them.
Hey, 3-0 against 3-0 next Sunday. It's a big game in the AFC.
Forget about who they're playing and where they're playing against. 3-0 against 3-0. No names. Can't wait.
For first place in the American Football Conference Eastern Division, the Buffalo Bills have beaten the Giants, the Jets, and the Bengals. So you draw your own conclusions. But I will say this, the Patriots, look at who they've beaten, and you can't say that those teams are standout teams either. So it's very difficult to decide how legitimate either one of these teams are. Do I think the Bills are anywhere near as good as the Patriots? No, but it's going to be a fun week. Stuff to talk about, right?
It's going to be a whole lot more interesting than, take the AB stuff out of it, it's going to be a whole lot more interesting than the Dolphins week and the Jets week that we just had to cover against a third-string quarterback and then two guys who should be third-string quarterbacks the week earlier in Miami. So, hey, we'll see what Josh Allen is made of up in Buffalo. I still don't know if he's all that good. He threw some extremely erratic passes last year. Maybe it's reined in a little bit more. They have a good defensive system, and I like McDermott as a coach, but he's 0-4 against Belichick. So you got the six-time Super Bowl champions, and you've got the Bills, who are historically, against Brady, the Bills.
So here we go, talking about today, because a good team has to beat a bad team. They have to go on the field, execute the plays, follow the game plan, and do that. And that's what, to me, has been most impressive about the Patriots. They're going out there and they're doing what they want to do against these teams. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's because they're a damn good football team, and their defense is unbelievable. I mean, their defense is, in this era, the last 10 years, let's call it, potentially historically great. And they have a chance to be maybe as good as that 13 Seahawks defense, maybe just, or at least nipping at their heels. I mean, this team is, at the back end, with the back seven, I guess, the amount of veteran experience they have, the way that they can lean on their linebackers to get after the quarterback, the way that their cornerbacks and safeties all work together with coverage. There's never anywhere to throw the ball. And then you look at the front four or their front five or six, however they want to line it up on any given week, and the pass rush depth. I mean, just last week against the Dolphins, they had, I think, like 9 guys get to the quarterback before Michael Bennett even started getting after it. So you just look at the waves that they can throw at you. And you don't have that one guy who necessarily sticks out the way that they had with Trey Flowers, but the depth is phenomenal.
And the one thing we know is that there isn't a defensive coordinator. So, yes, they have a ton of talent and a lot of veterans who know how to communicate with each other. But how much credit, it's not the right word, but how much of a fingerprint does Bill Belichick have on the day-to-day game plan of what the defense is doing out there?
Oh, it's his defense. He is, he's the guy. And Gerard Mayo and Steve Belichick are sharing the play-calling duties. So they get some credit there, but this is Bill Belichick's operation. I mean, he's installing the game plan. He's making sure that Mayo and Steve Belichick are able to go out there and get it going on a play-by-play basis, because Belichick's not going to look at a play sheet, nor would I think he really needs to look at a play sheet. But the way that he gets this whole thing, he doesn't even have to worry about the offense. He just gives that to McDaniels. So, look, Monday through Saturday, it's Belichick, and then if anything needs to happen on Sunday, yeah, he's got the voice and the headset. But, look, it's also the veterans that they have. Devin McCourty right now, I think, is playing the best football of his career, which is crazy because he's 32 years old in his 10th year, the final year of his contract. And then Jamie Collins is a revitalized version of himself. They're doing it with guys who have been proven commodities for a while, but McCourty is on the downside, supposed to be on the downside of his career, supposed to be on the backside of his career, and he's ascending, which is wild.
All right, Jeff just briefly touched on it, but that's the focus of what he wrote about after today's game. You want to read about Devin McCourty, you want to read about Jamie Collins, you want to read his post-game article on The Athletic. Now let's talk about the things that give you reason for concern. The rookies playing like rookies, and that can't happen as the games become more important. But in a way, in September, game in hand, you almost want them to make the mistakes so they can feel the wrath of the mistakes, because you know what it's going to be like Monday morning in Foxborough when those plays go up on the board. They don't even need to see them, but they're going to be told in front of everybody exactly what they did wrong.
This is Bill Belichick's favorite kind of game. It was over by the end of the first quarter. He could make his lunch plans, but then as things started to get away from him or the team, he gets a week's worth of stuff out of them. Now he can beat this into their heads all week long. Let's look at Miami a couple weeks ago. He's saying Pittsburgh in the opener. He's saying, yeah, you're a better team, but look what happened in the opener against the Chiefs 2 years ago. You fell flat, you didn't take them seriously, you lost. Look at what happened to Pittsburgh last year. You went in there, you didn't take them as seriously as you should have on the heels of that loss to Miami. Now I got your attention. Last week against Miami, you played for 59 minutes and 53 seconds. seconds when you were down there last season, and you lost because of it. Now you're going to play 60. He gets their attention. This week, going into Buffalo, yeah, they're the Bills, they're 3-0 and all that stuff, but hey, you know what? You guys should have won this game 45-0. You won 30-14. Why was that? Because you kind of fell asleep at the wheel with a 20-0 lead. So Belichick's teaching points are going to be able to get reinforced over and over and over again. He's got enough material to last himself at least another week.
My one chime into this topic is that I was disappointed to see the interception, not because Jared Stidham failed, but because I don't want to see Tom Brady out there. I loved seeing Tom Brady on the bench in a 30-0 game with 8 minutes left at age 42. And I think that now, once again, it's going to be a point of hesitancy now for the coach because he's not going to want to put Stidham in there. We'll see. I want to get your thoughts on the injuries. Edelman, we don't know how severe, but we've talked about the impact of what a rib injury could be for the average person. You can't laugh, you can't breathe, you can't sneeze, everything hurts, but football players are a different breed.
They are, especially him. I mean, there's a different breed, and then there's the Edelman breed, and science can't even figure out what that is yet. But look, he got landed on by a pretty big dude after a play with his ribs exposed, immediately starts grabbing at them and goes into the locker room a play later. So that's a huge concern. I mean, if he's not going to be himself for the next month, that's not the end of the world because of the upcoming competition, but the offense is going to suffer, and you might not be as consistent. And Brady's going to have to find different ways to, spread the ball around. And you kind of saw when Edelman left, that's when they sort of struggled a bit more in the second half against the Jets. Not a world beater defense. So again, you take that guy out, and it's just one more weapon. Now you got to start relying more on, Josh Gordon, Philip Dorsett. Not that those guys can't do it, or the running backs that Brady has. Getting James White back next week will certainly help, but it just makes it a little more difficult.
Not to bury the lead, but I kind of wanted to, but I can't let you escape without your analysis of sorts of an Antonio Brown and the 11 days we experienced, and if you've gained any insight onto what was ultimately the final straw that made this organization say, no mas.
Yeah, it was the texts. When the Sports Illustrated story released those, I found out Robert Kraft was on a business trip on Friday when he found out about the text with the harassment toward the female there. He was absolutely enraged, and he finally was able to connect with Bill Belichick. I think it was shortly after practice on Friday. They completely agreed it was time for the Antonio Brown experiment to come to a quick and swift end, but that was a tumultuous 11 days that he was on the roster, and I think you judge the Patriots by their actions. They signed him, and maybe there was a little pushback, but then the civil suit comes out, which they certainly didn't understand the extent of that coming down, on the horizon, but they were going to allow him or afford him the ability to defend himself in that civil case. But then when he went out and started sending those text messages, potentially at Gillette Stadium, I think that really just drove it over the top, and they were done with him.
Wow. All right. Well, you can read all about the game against the Jets. You can look ahead to the 3-0 Bills next Sunday. Jeff Howe's got it all covered for The Athletic Boston. Thanks, as always.